Yeah, I know, but don't you think it's weird that that's a hero he loves, and then Nick's Assassin, he's like hesitant? It's like similar kind. I mean,
comfort zone though. Like
he has played a lot of Nyx too, though. Like in their games, it's one of his like top 3 most played heroes.
We were back at the lounge, and you know what Jack told me? That guy can only play Legion Commander.
And that's exaggerating a little.
That's Flame Winter. That's Winter Flame.
That's what Jack told me. I mean, Jack said that's his best.
So Jack was flaming.
So he specializes.
I mean, he knows the Chinese team very well.
I mean, obviously, it's what he's known for, and
you don't
we'll see it back
You don't
again.
first ban Legion Commander, in a normal situation.
Yeah.
That says a lot about the player.
Also, don't first ban Enigma Ursa in a normal situation. But
it's happening again.
What is that? Is this? This is the.
Same.
What's going on?
These are two teams that know each other on a very intricate level, and that's what this ban reflects. Right?
So they're going to chuck him in on the Nyx again. They're like, round 2, in you go, Sonny. You got it this time.
I mean, Nyx was a good pick the last game, but it wasn't the hero. It was something about the player. He needed to give the team needs to give him more confidence. You can do it. You think you can do it.
You can do it. That's good. I like that.
You need like some pep talk,
Yeah, because often you lose a game like that, and your first instinct as a player, like from your pubs, is like you want to blame the guy. But this is one of those scenarios. You're down 1-0. You really just gotta try and say, look, we're going to get him next time. Game number 2 is ours. It's like when the goalie in football completely fumbles like an easy goal goes in. You can't give him shit for it.
Sure you can.
You got to pump him up.
Man City sold Joe Hart to Torino. They just got rid of him. That's what he did. Reported and sold. That's it. Look at this lad.
They're trying to wake him up.
Wake up!
Louder, Boston.
Ding, 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 ding.
It's not good enough.
We need the sound of an alarm clock.
Look at that.
Thought you were going somewhere else with that.
This is a perfect advertisement for the Dota hats. They actually have soundproofing built in. You can't hear anything when you put them over your ears.
That is not true. We are legally obliged to inform you that is not the case.
Yeah, well, I mean, we were talking about eye bleach earlier, and we had to specify as well.
Do not put bleach in your eyes. Do not put bleach in your eyes.
Thank you very much. That's why we're here. That's why you're here, Ted.
That's literally the only reason, dude. Let's be honest.
He's here for the warnings. It's actually from the Health and Safety Board.
Yeah, that's what they didn't tell you guys.
The other side of your ad finum card is just your health and safety
Government
inspector.
mandated. You need me on the panel just for safety's sake. Health and safety officer.
I mean, if you're not safe, we won't be here. So
that's
it's very important.
I am feeling safe. Always safe when I'm near you, Winter. You keep me safe.
I reckon we've been debated here. This guy ain't asleep.
Yeah, it's all an act.
What happened earlier when the guy got the person next to him to pretend to be asleep so that he could ask Shiva out?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
We got debated.
Weaver.
Great pick against Lifesteal. It's like a...
Look at this guy. Down in front.
We are seeing this draft go incredibly
He's so
quickly.
happy. You gotta love that guy.
I wish my body swayed like that.
You don't know until you try. God,
that's true.
I haven't seen you try. Maybe after. Maybe
yeah,
after
go
the
on, crack on.
Yeah, I was sitting there like 5 seconds. He's not going to do it. No, okay, we'll give up. But I mean, when you look at how quickly this draft is going, you do feel like there was a quick discussion, and already they had a good game plan. LGD are going back to what they know, right? The Magi, the Nyx, the Weaver. In fact, hang on, I need to refresh my memory.
Yeah, as far as the first couple picks go, the difference this game was the second pick for Forever Young was not the Silencer.
Right.
I think they wanted to just secure the lifesteal, deciding that could be a key hero for them as far as partnering up with the Bat Rider, and also it's very good matchup against the Nyx Assassin in lane and at a lot of stages of the game.
Nyx hates to lane against Lifesteal in the first few minutes. It's so difficult for him.
And once you get zoned, then the supports can leave Lifesteal a 1v1 because he can just crush Nyx once he has his phase boots. So
he's gonna need a lot of help from the Ogre though, but I'm not sure how much it would make a difference because Ogre can't really zone and pressure with the Ignite against Lifesteal because you can always rage it off.
I think Ogre's going to help him. Maybe he's in that mid lane like Ogre, come throw Ignite at mid, come Bloodlust me. He's not letting his Ogre go up top.
You guys were talking about running Nyx mid. Is that something that they could do?
Yeah, they did it before in the past. I've seen them do it, but I'm not a fan of putting maybe on that kind of hero.
But where are you going to put Oracle?
Oracle
so
will be
apparently, guys, I'm sorry to interrupt. Apparently, the producer has something to wake him up with. I'm not sure what we're going for here. Let's see if we can. Let's see if we can get this guy ready for the LGD game.
It's a tiny bell.
It's a little bell. No, he's not having any of it.
Whose face is that?
Debated. He's still not awake. This is some deep sleep.
That delicate little bell sound wouldn't wake anybody up. Yeah, you tried. Well done, Vlad. You tried.
I thought you had something special. I thought you had like a big explosion or something.
It's like the tiniest little bell sound.
We don't want to kill the audience, apparently. All right. Well, we should recap the draft because
that game wasn't that boring. That was no DKIG where we had like 90 minutes and no kills.
Fantastic.
Okay, here we go. Heavy guns. Oh. Genius.
I wish they could hear how good he is.
Here we go.
They're bringing the heavy guns. What on earth are they doing? What do you got for us, PGL? PGL, what have you got for us?
Nothing. Okay, well, this was good.
We're building suspense, Ted.
No.
Suspense is building.
Oh, wrong card.
Oh, he's not sure who he's supporting.
Okay.
Well, this has been fun.
So yeah, pick-wise, LGD.FOREVER Young.
Ban.
Oh, we have
Oh!
Is it pie? Oh,
It's pizza.
Now this is one way to wake up a man.
I would be scared for my life.
He's trying to give him the smell of pizza.
He's back, the Windrunner man. Yo, is he actually, like, this is getting dangerous now. Is he alive? Is he breathing?
Can
Slacks?
you check his pulse? Slacks, he's alive! He's alive!
Oh my God. Good morning. Hello. Welcome to the Boston Major. That is a 1 in a million selfie, and that is beautiful. The Dota community is enjoyable. Back to work, says the producer, and we shall do just that.
Jeez. Fun times with Vlad here. Well played. Slaughter picked up there.
Yeah, we're seeing
that
more.
Slaughter, DK, and Lifestealer.
So we're seeing more of this support Batrider. The full
Bat.
position we saw early with Newbie. We saw game 1, of course, with Zhao 8.
The last game was a better example of I got a better understanding why they actually ran the Batrider support. I could see what he could do.
Okay, what was that? What did you see?
You can pressure the lanes, and you have great way of catching up and stacking for your team. So LGD finishes their draft with a Timbersaw.
Yeah.
Good lane, very, very good lane against the DK.
3 strength heroes.
High armor hero as well. At least you allow your itemization. You get the reactive armor against what's a very physical damage-based draft with Slaughter, Lifestealer.
Yep. Still a very similar game plan with game 1, where both our teams have very distinct strats, very different. One goes for more split push, more farmy. The other team wants to go for more 5-man.
All right. Will this be the final game, or will we find a third to end on a crescendo? It's a battle to see who will represent China in the quarterfinals, the last chance for LGD and for LGD.FOREVER Young. To guide you through this and to answer the question of whether we'll see a third, it is a casting pair like no other, Malini and OD Pixel.
Thank you very much, Alex. Indeed, getting ready for this final, final series at least. It could be the final game, of course, if Zhao and the boys are able to pull it through again. Talking about Zhao on that Batrider once more, Ben. Over on the side of LGD, switching it up a little bit. Ame on the Weaver in that safe lane position. We don't see everyone do that nowadays. Are you liking it here against LFY's draft?
It's definitely tough versus a Disruptor, but it provides a great matchup against a Batrider, which was a huge issue in the last game. They had the Oracle this time. I would say much better defensive support against the Wiz, and no Silencer on the opposite side. So the supports can actually get spells.
Absolutely, yeah. The Silencer, a huge nuisance for LGD in Game 1. And I'm excited to see Victorian Oracle, as I mentioned in Game 1, in fact, as well. We've seen him on it before in the group stages, and he is absolutely fantastic when he's able to get those saves off. And as you mentioned, Silencer out the way. There's potential certainly going to be there. And Ame on the carry Weaver. Everything that LGD is hoping on. And maybe, again, another call we've got to talk about. He didn't win the game, of course, Game 1, but he had a fantastic performance on the Shadow Fiend. Kept himself relevant, top of the net worth. He's on the Timbersaw. And this is another one of those heroes that maybe can be an absolute playmaker on Carney.
Yes, in this game, I think he also has a better matchup in that he's not going to get focused down by everything because it's just hard to burst him down. With 20 stacks of reactive and then throw on a Fate's Edict onto him, he is going to be very difficult to kill. So I think it's a much better game for him to succeed on. He did what he could in the last game. He got that early kill on the DK. He got a lot of farm, but at the end of the day, they just casted all the spells on him and his teammates could not react.
LFY just securing the rune down towards the bottom. Looks like Zhijing will be able to claim it for himself up on top on the next assassin. Ame coming in for a bit of harassment and is not going to be able to get off the steal there. Did try and take it away from Super. Super able to secure it. Get that opening here in the mid lane. And that mid lane indeed as well, as you said, straight up matchup. Should be okay here for the Timbersaw. Xiaowei again, I guess we can expect him to weave in and out, but yeah.
This ward it looks like it's under division. He might be waiting for her to eat it sometimes. Like sometimes you want to wait and then you eat it with a Tango and then you get mass regen.
It looks like he'll just hit 100 at least. Just waiting until the lane starts to clash it. And it's going to be XZ and Jijing putting the pressure on the Lifestealer. And the mid lane, again, Xiao doing the repeat performance of what he did in game 1 just at the start. Coming to the mid lane, keeping these stacks up and making sure that maybe has to really think about getting close to this lane in the middle.
But this time they have an observer ward. Look at Xiao. He is headed towards that large stack, and they will be able to scout him out. So last game he got level 2 after he got the stack. Is he going to be able to get the stack off? It is a ranged troll camp, and the answer is no. No stack for him. Trolls make it much more difficult.
I mean, obviously, in terms of these stacks as well, as you said, LGD have got the vision now. Once the stacks start to be made, is there any way or any heroes that they can send over there to take the stacks and contest them against Xiao?
Yeah, Timbersaw, I think Weaver's like, he's okay at least contesting the stack. Maybe he can't kill it, but maybe is definitely the hero that can kill it. It just depends on how early the Bat Rider wants to take it out. You need at least level 2. If he's level 2, it's not like the Timbers can really rotate that early, but if Timber's level 6, might be a different story, especially if the supports are close in. There are a lot of stacks up on maybe in the mid lane. He has 7
stacks. With that Dragon Tail set up for Super, they may just be able to do it here. He's got one more tango to go for, but it's not going to save him. And Xiao, pretty much man of the match in game 1 with his shot calling, his playmaking, and this role that he plays on the Bat Rider, which we just haven't really seen anyone else do. We saw it attempted earlier by Kaka, but not to this level. And it already looks to start out to be even better for Xiao in the beginnings of this game too than it was in game 1. And game 1 in itself was fantastic in its own right.
And that kill was caused by Super getting the stun at level 2. Very unusual pickup for a Dragon Knight. But if you get to a kill, especially first blood, and especially in a tough matchup like that, it's worth it. Top lane, XZ.
Xiao, he's there. He'll be flying over XZ as well as Jijing, and XZ falling down low. 2 stacks on him, and Xiao he's enabled another kill already for the team. LFY picking up 2 kills. Xiao getting involved across the map.
And now, like, you have an observer ward on top, but there's no stacks there, and Bat Rider's like hasn't even been there. He's just wreaking havoc in the mid and the top lane. And now Super is way ahead in CS, or just 4 CS, I suppose. But
That's got a large wave coming in.
It's way ahead considering that DK is supposed to lose this lane pretty hard. I've seen DKs get solo killed in this lane.
Xiao attempt 2 here with the stack. We'll see if he's a little bit more fortunate this time. And yeah, he's got the pull timing this one round, so he'll start to get these stacks up, ready to continue that farm and his relevance in this game. As XZ will head over and will block up that camp, but Xiao still in the neighborhood. We'll see if he actually spots him out. Doesn't look like he will. XZ just keeping himself the other side of the tree line. So XZ will be able to block that camp undiscovered. So Xiao, he will be slowed down a little bit by this.
I think he suspects that he's around, though. And he was trying to move about, see if anything funny was happening. But looks like he's just going to get, what, 4 stacks, I think, is generally 3-4 stacks before you start actually fireflying it down. And looks like Ogre will share the majority of the experience from this camp.
That's nice for XP. We'll get him up to that level 2 at least. So Xiao will be slowed down by XP. It's being pinged out, so it looks like they're aware of something fishy going on. Potentially just checking out the XP that Xiao's getting, realizing he's not getting the full mass of it all.
There's still 1 Ogre left, but I don't think that's known to the Ogre, whose Observer Ward isn't quite to the left enough to actually spot out that Ogre, but it will block off any potential stacks.
Mid lane, as expected, once Xiao left the lane, maybe has been able to get a lead against Super, 23 against the 18. So we'll see if Xiao does head back over and allow Super to kind of get a bit more space again to get back ahead of this Timbersaw matchup.
There's a haste rune bottled up for Super if they want to go for the stun. And he pops the haste, but maybe he's already back on his own hill. And now they catch a whiff of Xiao 8 again. And don't have to worry about too many ganks from him yet. They know he's just going to be stacking.
I think Xiao, realizing with the fishy business that was kind of going on in the jungle, is just kind of straight up clearing up the camps now, rather than looking to stack them any further, just making sure that he finds these early levels so he can continue to rotate into lanes and feel kind of the effects that he can offer to this mid lane matchup where Super focus down again. It's actually the top lane that we're going to watch Jijing. He's going to look towards my end, and Jijing knowing that he can fight around this until the Carapace comes through, and indeed holds back in for the time being, but En's got the phase boost. And okay, neutral creeps doing it there for LGD. They will deny LFY that kill.
Sniper Satyr.
A nice little touch there for LGD, but they do need it as at the moment. Kills they're lagging behind. Farm in the lane. overall, I mean, Jixing's getting a fair bit out of this offlane. 21 CS at the moment.
And Xiao 8 got the D ward on that Observer ward, knowing that his camp was blocked. He's like, I got that sack.
I think he got 2 actually with that as well. They had 2 obses down there.
I think the
one of them
bottom
times out.
1x, I'm not sure if he got both of them. I was watching the one that was blocking. And maybe in mid lane gets doped by Xiao 8.
TP's will be coming across. It's going to be Victoria here, looking for a bit of a save. Trying to help maybe out here, looking for the nukes onto Super, but Super's actually going to end up getting regened up by this. Xiao 8 trying to dive forward, but the Fate's Edict and the Purifying Flames keeping maybe alive. So LFY won't be successful with that sort of a dive when there's an Oracle in the neighborhood. Bottom lane, Arme and Exi putting on the pressure, and they're pretty much on the verge of taking their first tier 1 here. As it looks like LFY unable to do anything to stop this one. Yeah,
there's a haste. Xiao 8 he's sitting right by it, waiting for an opportunity to pick it up.
And they are moving in, LGD. Again, it's slippery heroes to go for. Arme especially.
He's still sitting there, but there is a Radiant Observer ward a little bit to the right that would cut off his angle of approach, but I don't know if they have enough time to react. And of course, a Slaughter can stop a TP if they TP preemptively. He grabs a haste, he walks over mid. Victoria will be sighted first.
With the target indeed, and immediately with the Firefly starting to run over this Oracle, and maybe he's going to head over as well. Super's trying to get himself in the neighborhood. Backup is inbound for LGD as TP's come through, and that will hold Xiao 8 back. Xiao 8 up by the initial Carapace, trying to get himself over the tree line, but maybe jumps across Timber Chain and the Chakra, bringing him down low, giving the vision for the Purifying Flames, and LGD punishing that play there from Xiao 8. It's apparent that he wasn't going to get the kill, but at the least causing attention from LGD to come out from that mid lane, but it doesn't end up paying off, giving away his life there.
The 2 haste runes in these 2 games both yield LGD a kill when LFY are the ones that pick it up. And this time the Oracle purged it off immediately, and Xiao 8 was like, I'm not in a great position right now. And thought he was safe flying over trees, but Timbersaw also utilizes trees and cliffs quite well.
Absolutely. And as this mid continues, we're starting to see the net worth differences come in. And it's about a 700 or so lead here for maybe in this matchup. And that's kind of where the overall net worth difference between the 2 teams is coming through. Just the slight offset in this mid lane. Elsewhere, both cores and supports getting relative farm to each other. I'm looking towards the top rune again. Xiao will be able to make sure that maybe doesn't get his hands on it. Super able to refill his bottom. The Arcane rune down towards the bottom. Looks like Xiao will simply take that up on the Slardar. He himself not yet looking for any sort of rotation. Sometimes we see Slardars go for it. Jixing, oh sorry, it's him that picks up the Arcane. He actually, yeah, pops the Vendetta as well. So he's going to make sure he's got another use of the Vendetta underneath the cover of that Arcane rune.
And there is a D-ward battle in the middle. Looks like LGD.FOREVER Young will win that one. So how does Nyx Assassin deal with this? He doesn't have that much time left on his Vendetta. He's actually shown out right now. I guess he will get another cast of Vendetta before the Arcane Rune expires. And they will smoke around, wanting to bypass that sentry in the mid lane.
This could be good as well. Just outside of range of that Obs Ward. So LGD have the potential to find a jump with this one. Jixing will be able to lead the way with Vendetta. And at the moment, it looks like they do have their eyes on Yao on this bottom lane on the Slardar.
Ooh, does not go for that range creep. That's exactly what LGD were waiting for. I'm pretty sure he would have just stunned out an Invis with the position that he was at. But LFY are playing very tight and close as Xiao 8 and Super use a smoke of their own. They do have a sentry ward that Xiao 8 had placed earlier, waiting for the Nyx to pop it. And now that it hasn't popped yet and no one's died on top lane, they all run a bottom.
Here we go, the smoke dispelled. Xiao knows something's up, drops down the sentry and allow the vision here for the Dragon Tail. But looks like Nyx is just outside of range of the sentry, so Jixing will be able to head back, but he goes back under range. Yao able to lay down the amplify. Jixing getting caught out. The rest of LGD have already backed off. So LFY reading the situation, dropping down the sentry, and getting themselves that kill.
And they're so good at dealing with the Nyx. Like sentry wards immediately as soon as he hits 6, and then everyone's playing close to their towers, and then the smoke, so they can reveal almost with certainty where he is with the sentry ward.
Maybe potentially helping something good here. LFY Super heading across, and they do have backup as well. They're going to look to try and lean in with the Dragon Tail, stealing the Invis rune, maybe. Simply going up to the high ground, but the Kinetic Field and the Static Storm dropped down by DDC. The backup will be there for Victoria, but he's yet to hit level 6. No false promise, but it looks like it's not needed. Maybe able to turn around with the Chakram onto Yao, coming in with a 2-man crush, but LGD there finding it's going to be Slardar losing his life. LFY paying the price here, and LGD are moving forward for more. They've got eyes onto Xiao. The stun for Jixing isn't going to connect, but Arme continues to chase down with the Shikuchi. They'll hold him in place there as Victoria's there with the backup. LGD able to equalize the scoreboard, get a couple of kills back their way.
And you're beginning to see how tanky Timbersaw is. Even with like all these stuns and a kinetic field and a static storm dropped right on top of him, he didn't die. And a lot of it was due to Victoria just being ready with this Oracle sitting behind him. And there wasn't enough levels on the kinetic field to actually keep him locked into the static storm. That also hurt LFY a lot. And Super, he did get the Invis rune, now just kind of maybe looking for an easy kill, but Timbersaw has 20 stacks of reactive. That is, it's not really the target that you can kill right now.
Absolutely not. And Super just having to hang back and allow LGD to get a bit of damage done to this tier 1 in the mid lane. DDC is still around as well, but the Turban,
yeah, he just wants to keep his
lacking the damage really.
He's just constantly taking it. I don't even know if he's losing HP at this point.
And he's got, if he is, you know, Victoria's there with the backup behind and a false promise at the ready. So very little that LFY can do with these two heroes to stop Maybe, which is getting away with what everyone wants in this mid lane at the moment.
Yeah, looked like he was gaining HP with just the tower attacking. It was pretty close. And Xiao 8 ready to wrap around from the top side. He does have Lasso available, but no Firefly for 8.
I'm going to try for it, but Victoria's there, and as I said, the false promise is always going to be available. They do have to lock down on the Lasso to drag him back. Maybe he could play his way out of this, though. No damage is pretty much taken off that false promise because of the regen that he has. They just can't bring him down, and now LGD, they brought over the backup. Super will hold back Jijing with the Dragon Tail. Maybe Timber chaining across, looking for blood, focusing down on Zhao with this full-on chakram, pulls it back in, takes down the Batrider, and Maybe surviving for it all. And as we're seeing LFY, they just don't have the tools to bring down this Timbersaw at this stage of the game, and Maybe he's not done. He's going to be back in with the Chakram. Jijing will get taken down by the Crush. Amplify from Yao. LGD now on the retreat. They've lost 1 for 1. They glimpse back onto Armane. In fact, Armane's had a mana crushed up, and they've lost the Weaver. That was not what LGD wanted to happen off the back of that one.
They just stayed so long, and none of their heroes had mana left at that point. Like, Timbersaw was out of mana, couldn't really go in.
And we're certainly seeing LFY struggle to kill Maybe, but as you said, if the rest of LGD's teammates hang around, they'll certainly be easier targets here.
It's really tough for the Knicks, too. He's like constantly just caught out. He was caught in a kinetic field at the start, and later on he was just caught out by the stun. He was sat in Firefly for a bit, and he was at like 30% HP. He's like, I want to get my Vendetta damage off, but I also like don't want to die. And he was kind of caught in that position of whether or not he should go in.
Maybe just once again, back in, a couple of punches onto the tier 1. It's causing a lot of the attention of LFY. They've got Super here, backed up by Yao and TDC. Maybe they try again with a bit of a glimpse into a crush of sorts, but Victoria's there to purge off the Amplifier. Will still get glimpsed back again with the static storm. They're going to try and go for round 2, but again, Victoria's there with a false promise. They're going to follow through Lasso, holding him in place, but again, have they actually got the damage to bring him down? They do punish it by killing off the Oracle, but they aren't killing this Timbersaw. Again, another kinetic field. They have Amplify on him, but a full Chakram and a good stun for Jijing holding, and in the midst of it brings him incredibly low. He'll be able to rage and arm the toggle his way out of it all. Maybe again being this bad. They want to kill this Timbersaw so damn bad. With the Amplify, they may just be able to do it. No, he's still alive. Surely he dies here. He will finally fall. But it takes so much effort there from LFY, but it is a big kill to finally get.
It was very smart how LFY.
They're getting more by the looks of it as well,
yeah,
with these glimpse plays from DDC, bringing in XZ as well.
That's the Batrider from Batrider Blink. So the way they started off that fight was they knew that the same thing was going to happen. Okay, they'll pull Timbersaw closer to the tower, but Oracle False Promises, and because of Oracle False Promises, he's in vision, and Lifestealer just ran straight past the Timbersaw and ran straight at the Oracle, and Oracle died, and after that, Timbersaw is going to fall shortly thereafter, or maybe at some point thereafter, with the Oracle dead.
8 for 4, LFY overall farm. Still looking good for Arme during that whole kind of fight in the mid lane. He was eyeing up the top tier 1, was able to clear it down.
Yeah, I think he needs more farm. Like, looking at his items, he doesn't have his Lincolns yet, and nor does he have boots. And I suppose he's going for Maelstrom or Tread, not too sure with the Glance of Haste. But regardless, he needs his Lincolns first. Blocks Glimpse, Lasso, Dragon Knight Stun, Amp, I would say, like all very good spells.
They're going for this play again. Using Maybe, trying to bait LFY in for a bit of a jump. LGD already looking for the wraparound, but there's a sentry down. They've got the eyes onto Jijing. They have to use the false promise to keep the Nyx Assassin alive. Static Storm as well, clipping both of them. They've taken down Victoria. They'll turn towards Jijing as well. He'll die post false promise. They may have got the tower, but they've lost 2 heroes, and they may even lose more. Yao unable to hit the crush, though. And the glimpse already used. The rest of LGD will be able to retreat. 15.5 minutes in, 10-4.
LFY is just always one step ahead. They were expecting that. They already had a sentry ward, I would say, placed from like 3 minutes ago, sitting behind the tower, and not expecting the blink on the Batrider, and he had him immediately lasso, and Oracle's position was immediately compromised.
Proving to be a very, very tricky game once again for Victoria. False promises having to be used before lasso and such. So there isn't that initial save to bring them out of it all.
Yeah, he was just locked in by kinetic field, and the Nyx assassin too is again having a rough game, and he doesn't have as much farm as last game too, so he has to make. I guess it's slightly easier in last game because of no silencer, but he still had to deal with the Batrider. Normally you think of Nyx assassin countering the Batrider, but in this game and the last, Batrider's been countering the Nyx just by grabbing him immediately.
He does have Lincoln's, absolutely crucial against this lineup, but at the same time, LFY have a lot of ways of popping it. So you will have to be careful. Certainly still feels like the Weaver will be waiting on the next item of sorts before really turning up to all of these fights. And as we can see at the moment, being paired up against this Lifestealer, as An's been showing us, and he's having some fantastic results so far in this game.
I was like, that doesn't look like N, because he's hiding inside.
Here we have it. There we have, as you mentioned, inside Xiao, and eyes towards the bottom lane. It is just XZ, but he's out on his own, and they'll take a free kill. LFY make short work of the Ogre. Not a lot that XZ could do. Just hoping to come out to the lane for some levels and farm.
But they don't blow a lasso. Like, so you're like, oh yeah, they blew a smoke for it. But with no lasso and a free T1, I think an Ogre kill is definitely worth it. Normally you're like, it's just an Ogre. We wasted our smoke for that. Not really worth it this time. It's a little bit different.
Maybe he has that Bloodstone done now, so if he's able to kind of show us a bit of the flashy performance that he had in the earlier fights in the mid lane, he could start to swing the momentum back in favor of LGD. At the moment, definitely LFY with the lead. Maybe actually just wasn't straight in. There will be TPs across, and they're going to start to force LFY back, focusing Super down first, and coming in on the front lines, and Victoria has to false promise himself to keep himself alive. Yao coming in with a 4-man crush. There's no follow-up at the moment, though, from LFY, and now Yao in a bit of a tricky position himself, maybe, jumping across with the Timber Train, looking to finish off Yao. He's getting himself away there with the crush and the run, held in position by Victoria. One more chakram should do it, so maybe straight after picking up the Bloodstone, able to get himself a charge in the bank. Jijing, he's actually looking for more here, coming around the back lines, eyes onto Xiao and onto Super. On the low ground, maybe. See if he can get a jump across, and he's going to look towards and starting to chomp down, not popping the rage yet. So good chance for Jijing to come immediately out of the invis with the stun, but N, he doesn't quite die. He gets the rage and the on and off. Xiao is there with the back of the lasso onto maybe, and the Lifestealer surviving for the time being as he jumps into the bat. I mean, Xiao, he's had a remarkable game 1, and here in game 2, he's there to save his teammates and get them out of the trickiest of situations.
Just always there with his team, as you mentioned, and they were so close to killing Lifestealer, but you can tell it's a little bit in Jixing's head too. He's like, I don't think, or actually, it's more so the good play of LFY. They're like always ready with their instant cast. Like, he has to lead him with the Impale, because if he waits for the Vendetta into the Impale, he's going to be able to rage it off. And same with the last game. They had Spin, they had Manta, they had BKBs, and it's extremely difficult for him to actually get the jump. But they tried. They almost killed the Lifestealer before he could rage.
Almost, but indeed at this stage of the game, almost is not good enough, especially when you're a game away from being eliminated here at the Boston Major. LGD in this game too that they desperately need the win of. 5-11 at the moment. They're behind in kills. Farm-wise, again, it's a similar story to what we saw in game 1, really. Both Ame and Maybe in a very good position when it comes to net worth. Ever since that kind of failed fight mid, Ame's been avoiding it, getting the farm up on this Weaver. And he's put himself in a very comfortable position.
They're scared of Roche. They know they have a Slard in the game. They used scan about 5-10 seconds before, right outside the Roshan pit, to see if they had entered. But LFY are just all standing outside the pit. So let's see how LGD approach this. Looks like one hero will go in, see if the smoke pops, and Ames has not popped yet. So now they know that they're probably waiting for each other, and it's a game of chicken right now.
It is, and this is going to be the reveal of Yao's Blink Dagger on the Slardar.
I think he had it last fight.
Did he?
I think so. Anyways.
Oh, yeah, he did, Ben. It's getting late. LGD And looks like they aren't going to find anything indeed with that smoke. LFY is still in a potential position to make a jump themselves. DDC, even though we're getting a bit of vision, Super pops the Dragonfall and turns towards maybe Jijing, still under the cover of Vendetta. We could look for some kind of a counterplay. They're trying to find DDC on the sidelines, but he gets the static shot down to the Weaver. Victoria's there with a backup, keeping the Weaver alive with the false promise. Maybe chops down through the midst of them all, and he's found the kill on to Disrupt to the first casualty on LFY. Maybe Timber chaining away, and it looks like it will just end up as of that, but these sort of little fights where maybe is able to pick up an extra Bloodstone charge and the team loses nothing. I mean, LGD will be fine with that.
Ame tried to TP back to get healed up, and then he time-lapsed thinking that it would bring him back to the fight, but he just time-lapsed back to the fountain.
Ooh. He's trying to play it off cool though. He's like, I want his head to the top lane anyway to pick up the farm.
Yeah, he needed a TP back because he was under effects of False Promise, and I think that little bit of fountain regen carried him over to survive. I like this positioning that fight, and LFY were ready for that. He jumps up with the Slaughter, but Victoria was even more ready with the immediate False Promise.
And off the back of that fight, I mean, it really is the question of what the next bit of play is going to be for LGD, because they, as we saw before, with that smoke, they knew that Roshan was going to be on the menu very shortly for LFY, and now it's come up. They're into the pit, LFY. LGD are in the neighborhood. Ame trying to make his way over. Still a bit of a distance to go.
They actually
LGD
don't
want
have
to contest.
sentries. There's no sentries like immediately outside the pit, which is where Nyx is at right now. And he has to go a little bit to the north side in order to
found Xiao Wei
get
on the
scouted
side.
out. Yeah, he doesn't have BKB this time. And he could probably go for a Vendetta hit, but now, they smoked, I believe, right under the Observer Ward, and now they will stand over.
Coming through.
Do you want to stand on the north side, though? They do have an Observer Ward over there, as well as a Sentry Ward. I'm not sure if that's worth the positioning. And these, okay, maybe he's out in front. He pops the smoke.
And immediate jump into Static Storm will catch out Jijing. They'll jump in, burst down the Victoria Oracle, and that's the big kill to the fight of the start. Victoria's been saving a lot of heroes in these fights. This time he's not going to get the chance to. They've lost 2. Jijing's going to buy back, but maybe as well to fall. LFY finding 3 kills out of this one, and maybe even more. Jijing trying to get himself back in with the stone to hold back LFY's onslaught, but the jump in from Yao is a 3-man crush. XE, he's going to fall, and there's going to be a dieback for Jijing. LFY absolutely doing it here. They'll go for the TP out. Xiao makes it away as well.
Man, Yao has been performing. Like, he always identifies the best targets. Last game, he was all on top of the Wisp. This game, he just bypasses maybe. It was like, we can't kill him. And he just went for the back line. Stunned the Oracle out.
And this match, of course, deciding who the final Chinese team will be here at the Boston Major, and LFY certainly proving how they deserve this position with these sort of performances. And LGD still need to step it up in terms of team play. As we mentioned, individual performance for their 2 cores is looking good. Maybe an Ame in great positions, but has just overall execution and the way that they pull together in these team fights, it always seems to be a step behind that of LFY's.
If it's not Xiao Wei getting the great initiation, it's Yao. And these 2 guys are buddies, and they're well equally matched in their initiation skills. And maybe he's trying to stand out in front, but like, how do they actually protect their backline? It's all about the team fights in between these 2 teams. They just keep on fighting and fighting and fighting. And like, even though LGD lost that fight, they didn't concede Roshan. So now they're headed back to this area. How do they want to approach the fight? They need Ame, I think, to sweep around the side, and then Victoria to sit behind him in case they jump him. And if not, then he can pick out the Disruptor. And Bat Rider doesn't have a Force Staff, so he can't actually jump the Weaver in the next engagement. So it's, I think, a lot up to the Weaver and a lot up to the Nyx Assassin in order to keep these heroes stun locked. And this is before BKBs, mind you, or at least all the prior fights. Now, Super first BKB of the game.
We'll see how he's able to fight with it as well, as they do have eyes around this LGD. Leading over. And LFY certainly positioned to jump.
Yeah, they definitely saw this. BKB popped out. Look at Super bright and yellow right next to the T2 tower. Yep, that's one that you can't really hide. Normally you're like in the fog when this happens, but when you're right next to creeps, they definitely know what's up.
LGD.
So that, I mean,
they're just going to push in on this. Yeah, they know the Super.
Yeah, you have a 4,000 gold lead on LFY, but you don't have your BKB, so that's kind of there goes that lead.
LFY still may be willing to try and make a fight happen though. Xiao can get a good jump in. They're so complete.
Look at Yao. Yao's coming in from the left side on the secret shop. He's trying to flank them.
This He's actually kind of getting cold feet. He's back off. Super's going to be the one to lead in. Dragon Tail onto the Timber Saw. It's the hardest target to go on. Yao has End inside him. But again, not wanting to jump in on this one. The bugs from Arme holding back the initiation.
LGD don't have sentries. Like they're just going to get jumped with no vision.
Jijing dragged straight back into the Static Storm, and that'll be one freebie here for the side of LFY.
Yeah, look at that. They have 2 sentries and 1 Observer Ward. LGD were sitting under LFY's Observer Wards. You cannot let that happen when you're trying to push this tower or fight around the Roche pit. Now LFY looks like they're just going to head into Roshan perhaps. Timbersaw, I guess, can keep them at bay. It looks like he is going for a Lotus Orb to dispel that Amplify. And Open Wounds. Both pretty good. And maybe Reflect the Lasso if he's lucky.
I'll be interested to see how much confidence they show in terms of trying to take that Roche, knowing that there's a member down. But as you said, LFY still respecting the potential that LGD have with this 4-member lineup. And now, Jijing back on the board and ready to join it with his fellow teammates to continue to try and maintain control around this area. But as you said, in terms of warding, it's just not quite been there for LGD around this Roche pit, as LFY, they've been absolutely on top with the D-wards.
Yeah, I don't even think have any sentries in their inventory. So, like, the Nyx hasn't been having a good time, but also, like, his supports haven't been laying a foundation of wards in order to make him feel comfortable running in. They only have the 1 sentry ward, and it doesn't even cover that Observer Ward that LFY have, and it doesn't cover the immediate entrance inside the pit. So, Nyx Assassin just can't walk in, nor does he have Blink Dagger. I'm not really sure what he's going for with this ring of regen that he has. Maybe Force Staff, not sure. But here we go. Smoke. Yao has someone inside of him. And Dire has used Scan. It hits red.
Bullseye indeed from the scan. LFY pretty much a perfect wraparound potential here. LGD are pushing forward with a full 5-man. If they can get the jump on Victoria as such, it's going to be so hard for LGD to turn this one around. The lead in here from Zhao, Super. Maybe he's going to jump back first. Spike Carapace will come back out, but the Static Storm's there, trapping the Nyx Assassin. N will take him down. They've found Victoria as well on the back lines. The 2 heroes that are crucial for LFY to find at the start of this fight. Xy's going to be the third to be focused down. The Crush holding maybe in place. He Lotus Orbs himself. Is he going to save him from the right clicks of N as maybe falling down low, burned down by the fire of the dragon. Super able to pick up the 4th there. And again, it's just this shot calling, this playmaking from LFY, which is making them seem like they're on another level today, Ben.
Yeah, it's just way better than LGD's at the moment. Like, DK got a stun on the Nyx Assassin, and then in the back line you have the Slardar, just jump the Oracle. Their priority selection isn't who they see first. They see someone, and then they're like, okay, I know that supports our position, you know, X units behind them because they don't have Aether Lens and they don't have a Blink Dagger, so they have to be standing close, or else we'll just kill them. So they're always one step ahead of LGD. They know exactly where the Oracle is going to be in the fight, and how do you really counter that? You counter that with perhaps pretty strong wards. So look at the Nyx Assassin. Yeah, Nyx Assassin's done. Top side, Oracle's already dead.
I mean, it's Zhao. He was straight in with the lasso onto Victoria, making sure no sort of false promise or sort comes out. And they take down the weaker heroes first. You know, suddenly all the backliners are gone, and then they're able to focus down onto maybe. And there's just no way that he can play his way out of this one.
You can tell their game plan. Like, he probably just told them, kill the Oracle. Whatever you do, kill the Oracle. And you can, it's just like the Timbersaw doesn't even exist until, you know, 20 seconds into the fight, or 10 seconds into the fight, after the Oracle and his supporting cast are already dead. So they need more farm cores so that their supports don't have to show. Like, Timbersaw's like kind of farm, but without 20 stacks, I don't actually think he can survive versus amount of burst. And they need better spread in their items. Like, if their supports are more farm, like if he has a Blink Dagger, for example, he can stand like way further back. And if like the Ogre has a Lotus Orb, for example, then he can protect the Timbersaw instead of just being ignored and being used as the Bloodlust machine. But because so much of the farm is concentrated onto Ame and Maybe, like, they can just kite them because there's no BKB on Timbersaw, and he's not going to use his Lotus Orb perhaps at like the very start of the fight, or even if he does, he can just BKB stun him. So they kite the Timbersaw, and then the Weaver, they just go for it after they go for the Oracle. So the game plan from LFY is pretty simple, but how does LGD counterplay that?
As you said, you know, maybe he's suffering as well in terms of Bloodstone charges down to 6. Yao's picked up a Shadow Blade, and that's going to just further increase the problem that LGD supports have in terms of the value that they're at the moment. They're going to get poorer and poorer because they're going to need to invest in more map control to help deal with these jump-ins from Yao. Already actually searching out their own jungle. Ame has to be a bit careful here. I'll go for the straight TP out. He should be safe. Yeah, no vision on that area as Yao, DDC, and the rest of LFY came hunting. Diffusal Blade now done for Arme, and I mean, in this game, in what particular reason are you getting this? Is it just for the amplifier, or why else is he building this over other items after that Deso Lincoln's?
Yeah, a little bit for the amplify, as you mentioned, but I think a lot of it just because they need damage. They need to be able to kill people. You want to kill this disruptor before anything else, but the problem with that is they can't actually like kill the disruptor before he gets his spells off. The only disable that they have is Fire Blast again and Nyx Assassin, which hasn't been able to stun lock people in the fights, and he just does not have the mobility to move around. And it looks like Yao might get the jump here, and look, he feels so comfortable. He has a sentry right on top of him.
They have sentries absolutely everywhere. The warding from LFY. I mean, you just see, look over to LGD's jungle. There's 3 observer wards, there's sentries down the mid lane. It's so hard for LGD to get what they intend to get done with this sort of a lineup. Picking this Nyx Assassin, and suddenly it's just unable to set anything up, and it's LFY consistently setting things up onto you. Yao just jumps straight into the jungle, finds Victoria, they just turn their eyes towards Qixing as well, and just like that, it's quick and easy pickoffs, 2 at a time for LFY. Because of this warding and because of this control they have over the map and over the whole game as well in its entirety at this stage.
Yeah, they're just setting up so many more kills for Yao and his crew just with all these observer wards and sentries. Like even last fight, they have 2 sentries down in the same place just because they know that vision is that important. They need to make sure that they find the Nyx, and they need to make sure that Slaughter can get his Shadow Blade off.
Now they're going to get their hands on the high ground, tier 3 to full. Very, very quickly. There'll be a fortification with the Dragon Form and the Lifestealer with the Deso and Hyperstone at this stage. There's no lack of pushing power from LFY, maybe. Try and come forward with the Lotus Sword, making sure that it's hard to be glimpsed back. Army's going to go for a bit of a split again on the top lane, similar to what we saw in terms of playstyle in game 1. They're going to Fire Blast to hold back the Dragon. The Chakram actually bringing N down low, but Yao's there. He jumps inside, blinks away, takes the Lifestealer back to safety. Super just BKBs, TPs back out. Army was actually able to finish off the bat, though. He came back, Xiaowei, looking for the defense, was able to ward Arme away. Actually paying with his life, and no, Yao coming in with a surprise, and no, they get revenge. They may have lost the director, but N producing a fantastic kill there with the help of Yao.
And the double-edged sword with the Lincolns. Lincolns is great versus the Bat Rider, but it's terrible versus the Slaughter. Like, you can still easily die in a Slithering Crush. So, like, he doesn't really have the HP to survive even building 1 defensive item. So what do? You have to go 2 defensive items and do no damage? Like, BKB Lincolns is kind of seen as a weak build by some because you just don't have that much agility, nor do you have that much damage. But if he doesn't get BKB, he just gets crushed by the Slaughter. So it's a tough position for him. And Lifestealer looking to diversify his build a little bit, going with the Maelstrom. He already has a lot of minus armor. Like, we saw the Weaver just die in like 2 or 3 hits in that particular engagement. But dealing with the Timbersaw is another story. He itemized purely against physical damage with a lot of armor from the Lotus and perhaps the Shivas from the Plate Mail. And no hood that we see sometimes on a Timbersaw. So the Maelstrom will help a little bit with that. And if he gets kited and he has Mjolnir on, he's going to hit a lot of people.
I mean, at this stage of the game as well, you know, I kind of asked the question in game 1, how did LGD come back? It's already looking here in game 2 that they're even a much more stickier situation, Ben.
They have to buy Gem. I think Gem is the first step. Gem, so they have the vision advantage in the fight, so that their Invincibles feel comfortable moving around in the fights. They can de-ward, and they can also see the Slaughter coming, and they can take down these Observer wards. It's a heavy investment right now, but I don't know who would get it, but I think that's the very first step that they need to do. And then after that, I don't know. I don't know if building BKBs is the right solution. I guess at some point you do. In mid lane, he just dies to another Infest Bomb just in a matter of seconds to crush.
This vision, this pick-off potential, End and Yao consistently finding things, and it's a big, big pick-off indeed as well to have this stage because he's out for a full minute. Arme, no way that he can help the lineup out. As LFY coming in with this heavy push on the bottom lane, maybe trying to draw their attention away from the wreck, but Xiaowei immediately in and gets Victoria. The pick-off that he needs each and every time. Static Storm controlling maybe. They've lost 3 on LGD. It's 27-7. Xe is glimpsed back. He loses his life as well, and GG is called. It's all too much here for LGD's original squad, and it'll be LFY moving on as the last representative Chinese side here at the Boston Major, Ben.
Yeah, and it is no surprise that like Xiaowei's team always perform at each and every Valve event, and the panel was backing, okay, I trust whatever team has Xiao 8, even though there's maybe the superstar on another team, like Xiao 8, teamwork, chemistry, shot calling, whatever it is on LGD, Forever Young, just way too superior for LGD.
Absolutely. And you mentioned maybe. I mean, he certainly had good performances in Game 1 and Game 2, but it just felt like the synergy wasn't there. There wasn't the backup that he needed to ensure that he was able to kind of drive that farm into a win. But there we have Xiao 8 and the team coming out.
He played so damn well on the Bat
Xiao,
Rider.
I think you can't. If he gets that bat pick one, what do you do? I mean, we saw LGD trying to get the Nyx Assassin in return
And
twice,
Oracle.
but it didn't do anything.
Yeah, and I think we might see a lot more support Bat Rider cropping up after this, and maybe that's where Kaka got his inspiration from, or maybe vice versa. Maybe Xiao 8 got inspiration from Kaka. Not sure.
It was incredibly powerful. As long as you've got kind of those laners that can do without the bat's help at the start. I mean, we saw obviously the kind of coming into mid and dropping down napalm charges and nearly getting you kills in certain situations. But as you said, Xiao 8 backing up. Even in this game, where game 2. They kind of changed up the game plan in the sense that LGD were a little bit more prepared for the jungle camps. We saw XZ heading over to the jungle trying to slow down the farm. I didn't do anything at the end of the day, Ben. And Xiao 8 bat.
Yeah. How far can they go, Alex?
Alex, let's bring you in. And,
That is the question, right?
And it really is. I mean, they're going to have to go up against Finham next. That's going to be a whole lot of fun.
That's going to be a series to remember.
It really is.
The fact that the 4th seed have just taken the 1st seed down, I mean, that's not something we've seen at all in this tournament. These guys are an exception to the rule.
It certainly seems that they are. I mean, this was the spot for these two teams to play for, as you mentioned on the panel before, a little bit of a grudge match potentially between these two sides. You're playing here to represent China as the last Chinese team in the Boston Major, and I mean, there's no question about it. LFY absolutely deserving this spot as they pretty much dominate LGD in the second game at least.
Dominate being the active word. Thank you very much, Odie and Malini. You can go ahead and get yourselves tucked into bed. We're going to go ahead and wrap this bad boy up. The Boston Major playoff day number 2 in the Wang Theatre. Thanks very much, gentlemen. All right, wrapping this one up and to understand exactly what LFY did right is my panel, still joined by Winter, Gods, and Pyrian Flax. The Chinese side in the quarterfinals is locked in. It will be Forever Young, a team that, did manage to overcome LGD in their region's qualifiers, and they've done it again on the big stage. That was the question. Could they do it? And it's a 2-0 as well, Winter. Not even getting to see a third.
I like their team name, all-season veteran players, but forever young.
Yeah.
They're never
Are they
hungry.
actually older than LGD?
Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
I mean, this game just showed how good a Xiao 8 team can be. They were so coordinated, all their moves, and this Bat Rider support, I'm actually, going to be a fan of it soon. The more I look at it.
And interesting, we were talking about why are they banning Enigma first? Like, it seems a little unusual. Obviously, it is a Xiao hero. 88.88% win rate over the last 25 games in the last 3 months. 25 games in the last 3 months. That's how good he is on that hero. And I know, like Winter was saying, he was unsure about the Bat Rider support. What's it doing? But he got converted over this series.
And you think about the Enigma pick. The Enigma pick would have fulfilled the same role, what he's doing in the game, but you farm a lot faster because you're Enigma, and you have much bigger team fight presence. So maybe that's possibly why LGD has chosen to not want to go up against the Enigma, but they prefer to go up against the Bat Rider.
Yeah.
Right.
Really felt like maybe just needed that little bit of extra help to get some of these kills. We're seeing some of these highlights here where he's in the middle of 4 or 5 heroes, often surviving for long periods of time with the help of the Oracle, but he could get people low, he couldn't finish off the kills. Meanwhile, it felt like LFY were the team with a much clearer direction and a much clearer kind of team cohesion. They were just comboing all their spells way better, finding much cleaner pickoffs, and the LGD side just didn't seem to have that same direction.
One thing I must say about the composition of LGD, like Weaver and Timber did not work very well together. One has like pure damage and one wants to do physical damage with the bug. So you want someone else to hit them, and Timbersaw doesn't really rely on his right-click damage to kill the enemies.
Sure. I mean, it does seem like there was a lot of... We were very excited to see what Maybe would be doing in this game. And
he was scary, in the early game.
He did well, yeah.
But what you're saying, Gods, is that there wasn't much of a support framework surrounding him.
Yeah, but that was, I guess, more like focused around the draft, as Winter said. It's not like his team let him down, per se. It was... There just didn't seem to be the right heroes to kind of play around the Timbersaw. We've seen Timbersaw really excel in some of the earlier games of the tournament. Double G Unity and their 2 over Complexi used it to great success in both games. LFY just had some tried and tested combos. The Slider Lifestealer were able to easily find pickoffs. You had the Bat Rider initiating. They had much cleaner ways to go in, find a kill, back off, regroup, reset. So,
a hero we haven't mentioned yet, and I really liked in this setup was the DDC on the Disruptor. because when you're ahead, and I think they were ahead for a decent sort of early to early mid part of the game. You know, they were looking for pickoffs and things. If you can turn that into one pickoff into two or even more, that's what Disruptor lets you do. When you're chasing, when you're on the front foot, someone's about to get away, Disruptor brings them back in. Against Timbersaw, I think it's really good to pull him back into the fight. I think the Disruptor really got them through that middle stage, and then once Slardar has his blink and stuff like that, suddenly you just turn into this machine where they're just able to crush. And I thought that was good. But the Disruptor was a good pick as well.
Yep, that was a very good point. Their heroes allow the Disruptor to get those glimpses with the Napalm and the AM damage. They kept chasing. Once you lose one hero, you're just going to lose more heroes.
Right. And they're operating with a stand-in, right, Winter? You said this before, talking about DDC
yeah, but
and
DDC is one of their... He's their original member when they first started out in Dota 1. They actually played with DDC on the same team.
Even Dota 2 as well. Like go back to TI2 LGD was DD and DDC.
Yeah, I played against their team back then. They were like DD and DDC were two of the supports.
With Zhao and Yao. This is so they're ex-teammates. So I guess they know each other well. The main newcomer is the carry player, who's kind of just been playing like Jug, Lifestealer. He seems to have, so far he's shown a mostly small hero
back
pool.
then, Sylar was their carry, right? Like who was their carry? I can't remember. But Sylar.
Sylar for LGD. Yeah.
Well, what's so beautiful is that they have been reunited, and that's probably where the synergy that you guys are praising has come from. Zhao has been reunited with Slacks as well, and we can take a quick look at what he's saying. The director is in for the quarterfinals.
Woo! Hello! Ladies and gentlemen, I am here with Zhao 8, the last of the Chinese teams. How does it feel to be representing the last one in the region?
那你们现在是剩下的唯一一支国队了，这对你来说有什么感受？
我觉得这次中国队到这边可能状态都不是很好，然后都被淘汰了，感觉只剩下我们，压力还是挺大的。
I feel like maybe the forms of teams wasn't at their peak coming to this event, and with just us left, there's a lot of pressure on us.
Okay, and also I forgot to introduce my main man here, Jack. Sorry about that, Jack. Translator Jack there for you. Okay, so, anywho, I also wanted to ask you, what is it like transforming from a offlaner to a support? I asked S4 the same thing as a mid to an offlaner, so I put that question to you.
他曾经问过前世，就是转位置从中单转到3号位，那他想问你从3号位转到4号位有什么感受？
感觉就是多去熟悉适应一段时间，就其他的位置应该都是没什么问题的，因为3号位、4号位现在的定位都比较模糊。
Once you've spent some time to go and adjust, I think there shouldn't be too much of a problem transitioning, and sometimes the roles, the lines between 3 and 4 aren't that clear.
Well, I had a serious question for you. You've been in this game for 10 years. I mean, you're as veteran as it gets. How do you keep your motivation? You're still here fighting to win this Boston Major. It's very impressive.
那作为职业选手，你已经打了很长时间了，很有成绩。然后你怎么保持你自己的动力或者对游戏的爱情？
因为我本身的话就比较宅吧，然后就算我不打比赛，平时我也是跟身边的朋友一起打 DOTA， 一起开黑，就只是玩的比较业余，因为感觉除了 DOTA 没什么可玩的吧。
I'm already kind of a stay-at-home type of person. Even if I'm not playing professionally, I'll still be playing Dota with my friends all the time. And so why not? This is already something that I do in my spare time anyway.
Absolutely. And finally, were you aware that I am actually fluent in Mandarin?
你知道他汉语通的，对吗？你知道吗？
我看他好像中文不怎么样。
She how? What? Right? How do you say it again?
He says he suspects your Chinese isn't that good.
You are correct. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. We'll throw it back to you guys here at the panel.
I want to cut to the wide just because Winter is giggling. This is a joke that we can't quite be part of. What? You are just...
No, he just flamed him.
He flamed him.
Yeah, he thought that there's no way this guy speaks any Mandarin.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Just completely doubting Slacks. Yeah. I like that. That was Zhao, everybody, if you were unfamiliar. Just interviewing the veteran that has guided his team to victory, LGFY, or rather LGD.FOREVER Young. We can have a look at the scoreboard as well to understand how this second victory did come to them in the series. And one of the biggest criticisms we hailed towards the LGD roster, their shortcomings in the first, was that of the Nyx Assassin. And again, he's boasting a rather large number of deaths, 9 for him. But I think the praise is still going towards that support Batrider, Winter. You're still in love with that.
I'm more in love with the Slada though. This game, I think
With the Slada?
Yeah, the Slada did a lot. Like
Yeah,
look,
he
look,
did a lot.
Look at the comparison of the offlaners. The Knicks had. I don't mind the deaths, but
Okay.
I look at the assists when you're on the offlane. How much you get done for your team? He has 4 assists, 1 kill. Slada had 18 assists that game. I mean, they were winning the game. So
I mean, proportionately, that's probably the same,
but still, you know, the Knicks in the previous game, even though his team was like they were winning they were in control in the early to mid game, but he still didn't get much done for his team.
So this, just before we do head over to Purge, he's got something special for us regarding this support Batrider. This took you by surprise, right, Winter? This is something you're already sitting there going, I like this, I understand this.
I used to play support Batrider, but that was Dota 1. Now it's entirely different.
Yeah, and yet you're still convinced over the course of these 2 games?
Maybe after the video, after the Purge.
Yeah, look at that, perfect. Yes, indeed, Purge has got a special treat for you. He's going to break down exactly what makes support Batrider tick.
Hey guys, it's pretty important that you remember this information because this could be nerfed anywhere from 48 hours to 3 months from now. So definitely try to abuse them in your pubs when you can. The most important thing you do is support Batrider is what we just saw there. It's cast sticky napalm. So what you do is you go to a lane and you cast on the enemy mid 5 to 6 times until he's not safe to last hit. And that's because as you stack it more and more, it increases the damage that you do with right clicks. It actually does magic damage, by the way, so even better against Timbersaw in that way. So yeah, 4, maybe 5 napalm charges. Your items are pretty much focused on movement speed because, believe it or not, after you do cast napalm, you do have to go do something else. You're going to run back to your lane, ideally stack your large camp. So either a Windlace, maybe a Boots of Speed would be really good in this case. Zhao 8 doing an interesting tactic here. He's actually trying to tilt his opponents from the future. They're going to go back and watch this replay later and actually realize he didn't even make his stack. So literally all he did for the first minute was cast Sticky Napalm 5 times. But then the next part is he goes back mid again and he casts Sticky Napalm another 5 times, again making it difficult for Maybe. But you see, at this point, Maybe is so mad about this that he actually overstays his welcome and they end up chasing him down and killing him after like 5 or 6 stacks of Sticky Napalm here and a great stun by DK. So thus far, pretty effective play from Zhao 8, I must say. Again, maybe move around, try to attempt another stack and fail it to, again, tilt your opponents. But at some point, you rotate forward to the top lane and actually do something. And that's because by this point, he's actually leached level 2 from the mid lane. And then when you just fly over people using Sticky Napalm and Firefly, they just kind of die because it does a stupid amount of damage. So, yeah, he actually gets the Ogre kill just there. Eventually, this big stack that he's basically worked on the whole game, he will eventually clear this using things like Firefly. And, you know, at some point, you just have like a 6-3-3 Batrider that saves your carries. So it's a pretty straightforward guide. Just cast Napalm. That's about it.
That is brilliant. Well, you got the whole desk giggling, Purge, and it was a spectacular show of exactly why that was so effective.
I'm sold. I'm sold.
You are sold. You said you had to wait and see the video.
Yeah. Don't even have to hit your stacks. It's
just think how good it would have been if he had hit those stacks. Think about that. It was already super effective.
Psychological warfare.
Brilliant.
I absolutely love that. Wow. Another day done, another great lesson learned from Purge. A whole lot of them came today, and of course yesterday. We can recap what our bracket does now look like because our round of 16 is done. The Boston Major has managed to carve our way down to just 8 teams. We started with 16 and we've waved goodbye to half of them as we prepare for the quarters. VP and EG tomorrow, Warriors and OG. On the other side, you get to see that DCNP clash and Ad Finum LGD. Man, I mean, these games today provided almost as much excitement as we were anticipating after the first one. It's living up to the hype, boys.
Great games today, you know.
Yeah. Which was your favorite?
3 games. A lot of 3-game series today.
Yes, we actually got to see more of the third game. It's not a complete phenomenon. It does exist.
My favorite game?
You're not sure?
Not sure though.
Not sure.
Probably Ad Finum. One of the Ad
Yeah,
Finum
Ad
games.
Finum.
Ad Finum Newbie Game 3.
I think the bounty. I even say game 2
career
with the bounty.
Yeah, game 2 was hype.
Okay, the career snipe.
Yeah.
I remember the career snipes, Alex.
Well, it's only going to be an upward trend from here. In fact, if you look at tomorrow's schedule, you are setting an early alarm. Get your phone out now and set that alarm. Of course, no one uses alarm clocks anymore. It's 2016. But do get your phone out and set it because we want you here bright and early, wiping the sleep out of your eyes for Virtus Pro, EG, Singular Limb. One of these teams is going home. Warriors Gaming Unity versus OG as well. Will they continue to cause upsets in this tournament, or will OG be the stop to that? DC versus NP, we get to see how that story does continue. And Ad Finum, who actually physically drew blood after their victory in their battle to get to the quarterfinals versus the squad from Forever Young.
I'm excited about the NA showdown tomorrow.
NA showdown.
Yeah, DCNP.
I'm excited for OG WG Unity. I want to see if WG Unity can kind of continue the upsets or if it was just a one-off thing.
It's going to be good. There's no doubt about it. Final words from our health inspector, Ted.
Good job today. One minor injury. It was very quickly tended to.
Okay.
They did get a bandage on Spartans, so that's good to hear. Let's keep it safe tomorrow.
So we're allowed to run the show tomorrow?
You're allowed to
run the show tomorrow. We're not going to be shut down by the health inspector.
No, I'll give you one more day. Yeah, just keep it safe.
Okay.
And keep it sensible.
Keep it safe, keep it sensible. Those will be the words that we do end our show today here for the Boston Major. It's been our second day. The playoffs have been turbulent, and they will continue to be so as we've got big games coming up tomorrow, bright and early. Set your alarm clocks. We'll see you same time tomorrow for more of the Boston Major.
The first round of the Boston Major playoffs has drawn to a close. Now 8 teams remain in the running to become the next Majors champion. They have passed the first hurdle, but the gauntlet awaits. And from this point on, the matches are about to get a hell of a lot tougher. Victory tomorrow would ensure a top 4 finish, but defeat would leave them regretting what could have been. For the Boston Major title continues.